In February of 2019, we flew to Arizona from Washington to speak about my bill to permanently protect the Grand Canyon from uranium mining. We wanted to publicly release the legislation on the rim of the canyon to show firsthand the lands that we were attempting to protect. Unfortunately, the weather had other ideas. That night before the event, it snowed more than it had in decades. But by some small miracle, the roads were clear, and we found an easy pathway into the park. We made it in time and even found some rangers to help us set up in the snow. Tribal leaders representing people who have called that land their home for a millennia joined us at the event. Standing there with them on the edge of the amazing canyon, millions of years in the making and glistening in the snow, it was hard not to be moved. Looking out over the Grand Canyon, you're reminded why we as a nation have dedicated ourselves to protecting the unique and enduring landscapes around us. Nowhere else on Earth is there a site quite like the Grand Canyon, or for that matter, like Yosemite Valley or Yellowstone National Park. These places are gems of our national park system, and they show who we are as a people. We are judged on what we choose to pass on, and today we have an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to preserving these lands for the future and for future generations. In short, in a few short minutes, we will vote on the Great American Outdoors Act, a bill to significantly increase conservation spending in the United States. For too long, we have allowed our national parks to fall into disrepair. We have underfunded maintenance while park visitation has skyrocketed. At the same time, we have failed to meet the full promise of the Land and Water Conservation Fund. We've been diverting half of this conservation funding stream to other uses for which this money was never intended. Today, we take the opportunity to remedy both those failures. The Great American Outdoors Act provides $1.9 billion per year to maintain our national parks and public lands, ensuring that special places like the Grand Canyon are accessible to all Americans as they were to me on that February morning. The law will also make an enduring commitment to protecting green and flourishing open spaces by providing $900 million annually to the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The funding will mean more parks for inner city families. It will allow us to protect forests, wetlands, and marshes from the destruction of climate change. It will help protect lands around the national parks from inappropriate development and will expand recreational access and opportunity for all Americans. Combined, these two major programs amount to one of the biggest wins for conservation in decades. We all know that not everyone here agrees about the value of these programs. In fact, we disagree almost daily on how best to protect the landscapes of our nation. But I hope today we can move past those political differences and to honestly consider the value of conservation and the importance of a stable, predictable funding. We have a generational opportunity to ensure America's crown jewels are protected. We have a unique chance to ensure that every tool is available to help us respond to the climate crisis, that we can protect those landscapes that best protect clean water, clean air, and healthy green spaces. This bill is a major win for the American people. Decades in the making, I might add. I have pursued it for years. Some of my colleagues have pursued it for years. This didn't happen overnight. Now, during a time of national disillusionment, it is perhaps more necessary than ever to demonstrate that we can still bridge the divide. When it comes to passing along this nation to our children and to theirs, we can still work together to find common ground. This bill goes beyond politics. It's about ensuring that we pass along a legacy of public lands, stewardship, and conservation to future generations, so they too can marvel at the Grand Canyon covered in snow. I urge all my colleagues to support the important measure and reserve the balance of my time, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The gentleman from Arizona reserves. The gentleman